Hey guys, it's Brianna here. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. I am so excited to be bringing you my paranormal romance recommendations as well as my paranormal romance read-a-thon TBR. So it's a 2-in-1 video. I'm going to go ahead and say this really quickly that yes, paranormal is one of my all-time favorite genres. However, I say that to more so say I have not read as many paranormal romances. My paranormal love has come from young adult, so most of my reading has come from the young adult genre, so I don't have as many recommendations, especially since I have started so many series within the paranormal romance world that it's kind of hard to give you a recommendation when I haven't even finished a series. So I do have a bunch of, series that I do love, but I don't feel like it's fair to give you recommendations if I haven't even finished a series myself. I will mention them, just know that I haven't finished them yet. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a couple romance recommendations, and then we're going to go ahead and get into my TBR. I am going to go ahead and start this off by giving you guys a young adult recommendation, just in case you guys are looking for a young adult vampire series, because I'm mostly going to be focusing on vampires because of all supernatural creatures. That is my favorite creature. So I obviously am a fan of Twilight. The reason I'm a reader anyway, but I absolutely love this series. It is currently an ongoing series. I can't remember when they said book 3 will be released, but it will be in 2021. But the series that I'm talking about is the Beautiful series by Renee Audier. The first book is The Beautiful. The second book is called The Damned. It came out earlier this year and I hands down loved it. The Damned, the sequel, is like 50 times better than The Beautiful, so to kind of just keep that in mind. So this book is about, obviously it's a young adult paranormal series where we are set in the early 1900s, I think, no, 1872, and this takes place in New Orleans. So not only are you dealing with the late 1800s, but it's also taking place in New Orleans. And I don't know about you, but I am absolutely fascinated with New Orleans, the entire culture behind it. I just find it so fascinating and so interesting, and the place that is on like the very top of my bucket list to go. I was hoping to actually go there this year, but then, the pandemic hit. So that was kind of a, sad thing to do, but eventually I'll get to go. Anyway, back to the book. So we are set in the 1872 in New Orleans, and we have a kind of like a boarding school that is called, I forget, La Cour de Lion. And I know I'm pronouncing that right because I cannot speak French. So just gotta keep that in mind. But we have our main character, Celine, and she is 17 years old, and she's been kind of forced to flee from Paris. She has like a secret in her past that we slowly, uncover and figure out why she's running away from something. But there's just like creepy little things that are happening throughout the books that are in the perspective of this creature, like this creepy figure that you keep hearing. All these people are dying. All you can hear is them screaming and they're dead. But of course this is vampires. Something interesting about this book is it's not super heavy on the vampires. You kind of just get a little bit here and there with the vampires, so that's also kind of refreshing. It's not super overpowering about vampires. It's almost like you don't necessarily know that it's a vampire. You kind of just know that it's a supernatural creature, and I find that kind of fascinating. It was a different take on vampires. Obviously, if you're a fan of Twilight, you probably might enjoy this. It's not the same, feels to it at all. But obviously this this cover design is definitely geared towards Twilight fans. I saw a video from Riley Marie. I will put it in the cards. She actually did a, what's it called? An experiment to test out, because that's what she majored in college is, formatting and stuff and graphic design. But she talks more in detail about it. I'm explaining it very well. channel, but she did a book experiment where she read books that have very similar covers, and it wasn't this book, it was Crave by Tracy Wolff, which is another vampire series, young adult series that is set at a boarding school that has, you know, where it's got this black background with just one little thing in the cover, and that's obviously very Twilight geared towards. So I think she read that for the vlog. I could be totally mistaken. I think she might have mentioned it. Anyway, like I said, I will put it in the cards if you guys want to go check it out. But like I said, this is so good. The second book actually touches on more of supernatural creatures, which I was not expecting. I thought that this was just going to be vampires. So kind of keep that in mind if you are looking to start this series, is that book 2 actually delves into more supernatural creatures, and it's so much fun. I cannot wait for book 3. So my other recommendation is a book that I do not own physically, but I read it about 2 years ago, and at the time it was only 3 books. So I read and loved the first 3 books, and then as I was, you know, preparing for this video, I actually found out that there is a book 4. I don't know if it is out yet, but the book that I'm talking about is Fatal Harmony by Anne Malcolm. So this was originally a trilogy, and because it has been about 2 years since I've read this series, a lot of my, you know, memories of it, like I still have very vivid memories of this series. One of the things that sticks out most to me is our heroine. I will read you the blurb in just a second, but our heroine is hilarious, and that's like one of those things that I enjoyed most about this series. Is it was pretty graphic, I'm not gonna lie. And Malcolm is also, I think she's also an MC author, so she gets pretty dark in her books and it's pretty graphic. So kind of just keep that in mind. I would recommend seeing if there's any triggers for this series. Obviously, it's been a while since I've read this series that I cannot remember if there are particular triggers, but definitely look those up to see if there are any. Just kind of keep that in mind. But like I said, our heroine is hilarious, and I absolutely adored her. I am the worst at coming up with my own synopses. I think that's the plural of it. So I'm going to read you what is on Goodreads. So we have, I may be the villain of the story, but at least I get a leading role. Evil is a term thrown around history and literature as if it's something so easily definable, a concept to fight against. Evil does not exist. Vampires do, though. I just happen to be one. I've cruised through the centuries managing to avoid all the wars, supernatural and human, but still going to all the best parties. I would say I avoided bloodshed, but it's the kind of part of the whole vampire thing. I've lived on the fringes of a society that considered cruelty and sadism favorable character traits for almost 500 years. Now I am in the middle of a war that might just put my non-beating heart in a lot of danger. Battles I can handle. The impossible attraction between me and the vampire slayer, not to mention the penetrating gaze of the king of our race. On the other hand, I might not get out undead. So, like I said, our heroine is absolutely hilarious. As I read from the blurb, she is a partier, which is hilarious. She's been around for 500 years. She's seen it all. She's like, I don't want anything to do with it. And then she comes in contact with a vampire slayer who happens to be very attractive. And of course you have, because the vampire caste system, they have a king or a queen. It just happens that there's a king, and of course he's super attractive and everything. And I don't know, it's just a really fun, crazy series. I am super excited to hear that there is a book 4 in the series, so I'm definitely going to go check that out. But I highly recommend this series. I have never heard anybody talk about it, so it definitely needs more attention because it is so good, and I absolutely adore it. I really need to get paperback copies so I can have it on my bookshelf. I just need them. So I'm gonna go ahead and Hi. I'm filming a video.
What kind of video?
A book video.
Is it still filming?
Yeah.
So
I'll cut it out.
Are you gonna edit it?
Yeah. Okay, so some other book series that I would like to mention that I have started, just have not finished. One of them is the Side Changeling series by Nalini Singh. I am currently on the third book, which I'm actually going to mention in a few minutes. So this is obviously a very well-loved series that is very long. I think it's at least like 20 books long, so I'm nowhere near caught up at all. Um, but this is like a shapeshifter paranormal series, so it follows different characters and everything, and it's just a lot of fun, honestly. I am really enjoying this series. Another great series is the Black Dagger Brotherhood series by J.R. Ward. This is a vampire series. I feel like this is probably the most well-known series. It's pretty up there in terms of like Twilight and everything. I think it even started around the time of Twilight, so I did get into it, I think, last year, and I think I'm only on book 3. Again, I will actually mention it in a few minutes. So that is another very well loved series, Paranormal Romance World. Okay, so a series that I have started, I have read the first 2 in this series. It's a common thing with me. It is I guess it's called the Hollow series. This is by Kim Harrison. Also another series that started around the time of Twilight and all of that. I think our heroine is one of those, like sarcastic characters, and it's a lot of fun. It is set in Cincinnati. It is also a pretty long series. I'm on Goodreads right now, so I'm going to tell you exactly how many there are. There is currently 14 books out, and it looks like it's still ongoing. I see a title for number 15, but it doesn't have a cover or anything, so it is an ongoing series, but I do enjoy this series. It's really good. It's another series that I hope to continue because I am enjoying it. So another recommendation that I've only read the first book in this series. It's the Fireblood Dragon series by Ruby Dixon. If you are a fan of Ruby Dixon or have heard of Rise Planet Barbarians, you will definitely enjoy this series. It is obviously a dragon series. The first book is called Fire in His Blood, and I read it last year. Absolutely loved it. It is kind of like a urban fantasy, almost like a dystopian type of book, and it's just a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It was kind of like I think it's an Enemies to Lovers is the first one, but like I said, I really enjoyed it. It's a really good series, and plus it's Ruby Dixon, and the Ice Planet Barbarian series is one of those series that is like one of my favorites yet, despite still not being done with it. Story of my life. Another really good series is the Chicagoland Vampire series by Chloe Neal. Again, I think I've only read the first 2 books. And this is also a very lengthy series. I'm also pulling it up on Goodreads. There is currently 13 books in the series. I don't know if it's finished though, but I have read, like I said, the first 2 books in the series. I didn't enjoy book 2 as much. I felt like it suffered from what we call the second book syndrome, the sequel syndrome. I just didn't connect to it as much as I did the first book. But with that said, I still really love this series and definitely want to continue because I do really like the storyline of this paranormal series. So that is another really great paranormal series if you were looking for recommendations. Those are all the ones that I have started. I just have not continued yet. So like I said, there really is not very many that are within like the adult romance world that I've read. So, but regardless, I am so excited about it to continue all of those series. But I'm going to go ahead and talk about the 5 books that I have planned for the Paranormal Romance Read-a-Thon. I think I said the title of it correctly, but I'm going to give you some information about all of it, but I'm sure you guys have heard about it by now. But it is a read-a-thon that is taking place from October 30th to November 6th. So it is a week-long read-a-thon to kind of just get in those last, spooky themed books, and this one just happens to be paranormal themed, and I'm more so targeting the vampire books because it's my favorite and I can't get enough of them. So this is hosted by 6 different people, and I will put all the links to their channels in the description if you guys want to follow them, but I'm pretty sure you guys are already following them because they're all amazing. But we have Jessica from Peace Love Books, also Lacey from Lacey Book Lovers, Desiree from Genki Reader, Charles from Books on Stereo, Lisa from Remarkably Lisa, and then Crystal from Crystal's Bookish Life. I just know that that's her Instagram handle. I can't remember if that's also her booktube handle, but anyway, I will put all their links down in the description. So this is a week-long read-a-thon. Anyway, I can't. So I already know I'm not going to get to all 5 of these books, and as you just saw, my mom just gave me news that my sister is moving back home next weekend, which was totally unexpected. So not only that, we will have to drive up to Denton, which is about 45 minutes from us, to go move her back home and everything. So that's going to take up pretty much our entire Sunday. But I'm fine with it. I am so excited to have my sister back home. But that is definitely going to, interfere with the readathon and everything. And also I work. So there's that. I am a teacher, so and I'm also a first year teacher, so I am very busy this year between handling kids in the classroom and kids online. I have 22 students. I have 11 in the classroom now and 11 still online. So I'm juggling 2 different groups of students at the exact same time. But that's beside the point. I just wanted to kind of quickly give you guys a reason why I'm probably not going to finish all 5 books. If I do, that will be amazing, but I can already, anticipate that I won't, and that's fine. I just picked 5 books that I really want to get to that have been on my TBR for a while now. So the very first book that I have already kind of mentioned is going to be Lover Awakened by J.R. Ward. This is book 3. I think book 3 in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. I am so excited about this book. This is Z's book, and he's one of those characters that I have been dying to read his book for so long. He's one of my favorite characters so far. So I'm super excited to read his story and, just gush over him. I know he is a very well-loved character. He's an interesting character, but I am so excited to read his book. I really need to get caught up on this series because it's just one of those series that you kind of just have to read to, be a true fan, and I want to be a true fan of the series really badly. Next up, I have another pretty old series. The first book is called A Quick Bite, and this is by Lindsay Sands. Like I said, this is another older paranormal romance series. I really don't know anything about it. I obviously just know that it's a vampire series, and that's really all I need. I'm the type of reader who goes into books blind. I pretty much know the trope, and that's it, and that's all I need. I will kind of get my own judgment, see what I'm going to think about it, but most of the time I end up, I'm a pretty good judge of character to figure out if I'm going to like the book or not, which I know that sounds really weird because I don't pay attention to synopsis all the time. I know that sounds really weird, but for some reason I'm just really good at choosing the books that I am going to enjoy. But anyway, I am super excited to read this series. If you guys have read this series, definitely let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are on this series, because I really have not heard a whole lot of people talk about it. So I'm curious to see if anybody else enjoys this series. Hopefully I'm not going to waste my time with this series, but I really, really hope it's good. And then another series that I have been dying to start for so long is the Night Huntress series by Janine Frost. The first book is called Halfway to the Grave, another vampire series that has been on my TBR for years now. Another series around the Twilight, era, I'm going to call it. And this is a very well-loved series. I hear about this series all the time, so I know I'm most likely going to enjoy this series. I think this is probably going to be the first book that I tackle because I have been dying to read it for so long now. So I'm super excited about that. The next 2 books that I plan to read, I do not have physical copies of, but all of the books that I do want to read for this readathon are audiobooks because I do prefer to read audiobooks, and it's the most read format for me. So I made sure that all of these books were available either on Audible Escape, because I did borrow the 3rd Black Dagger Brotherhood book. I need to read it before they shut down Audible Escape so that I can, listen to it in time, which I should be able to. But the next book that I want to read is Every Which Way But Dead by Kim Harrison. So this is that series that I mentioned in my recommendations of series that I have started but have not continued just yet. This is book 3 in the series. I am so excited to read this book. I really hope that I get to it during the readathon. If not, I will tackle it eventually. I look forward to it. The next book that I would like to read that I also mentioned in my recommendations is book 3 in the Side Changeling series called Caressed by Ice. This is book 3 in the series, as I literally just said. I don't know. Anyway, I really hope to also get to this book because, like I said, the Side Changeling series is one of those that is very well loved in the book world. So I really need to get, caught up on this series. So those are the 5 books that I do plan to read. I may or may not change it up and add some books that are not on my TBR. We'll kind of just see. I'm really bad about sticking to TBRs, but of the books that I have planned out, these are the ones that I have been meaning to get to for a very long time, and most of them are a series that I have started that I've really got to finish. So 2020 has been a really good reading year for me overall. It's definitely not going to be what it was in 2019 where I read over 300 books, but the books that I have read this year have been phenomenal. So I'm going to stop rambling, but like I said, let me know down in the comments, recommendations if you're participating and all that. If you guys would like to see more videos from me, please think about subscribing to my channel and then make sure you turn on the push notifications. I am trying to get on more of a consistent schedule posting type thing. I am aiming for posting on Wednesdays and Saturdays. If I end up changing that schedule, I will definitely keep you guys informed about that, but that seems to be kind of what I'm aiming to do, is to post 2 times a week. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. All my social media links will be down in the description if you guys want to follow me elsewhere. But until my next video, I will see you guys next time. Bye, y'all.